Well, another hot button issue we received several questions about. I'll ask you one of them here. I don't know if you've seen this video, Jim, of a comedian making comments about wrestling fans, but let's ask this question.
Well, go ahead and then I'll respond to it because I've seen the same things being asked.
This was sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Benjamin P. Hope this email finds you well. Recently, comedian Tom Segura took shots at wrestling and wrestling fans. Segura said on his podcast, quote, "I think wrestling is for fucking retards. I think it is the fucking stupidest shit, and I think you're a fucking tool if you're like, hey man, it's not fake. It's fucking fake, and you're a fucking idiot. There are no real fights. These are just stunt people." He also compared wrestling to the Special Olympics, saying, quote, "Yeah, so is the Special Olympics. It's fine to go, but it's not real. It's not a real competition." This prompted a lot of wrestling fans and wrestlers to weigh in with their opinions. The likes of King Corbin, Ricochet, and Dolph Ziggler are just a few names.
Oh, boy, what a fucking lineup to come to the defense of the wrestling industry.
Myself, along with others, would like to know what your opinion is on the situation, and what would you say to someone who is utterly uneducated on professional wrestling and the risks that are involved?
Well, first of all, I saw people tweeting this, and I was not going to go down this rabbit hole, as they say, because to respond to this guy, first I'd have had to watch what he said, which would have taken a while, and I haven't had a lot of free time lately, as we all know. And secondly, then I would have had to figure out who the fuck he is, because I've never heard of this guy. I've never heard his fucking name. I watch a lot of television. I've never heard of a comedian called Tom Segura. I've never heard anybody talk about him. Never heard of his show. I've never heard of anything he's been on. And I figured, it was just another asswipe knocking wrestling. But here's the problem. To be perfectly honest, if he's watching what I'm watching here over the last fucking 6 weeks, he's right. Now, for him to say that about all professional wrestling, of course, I'd have to know who the guy is to hate him and cut a promo on him, because then I'd have to fucking research how unfunny he is and how much his shit sucks and how many times he's been, on fucking failing fucking shows if he had, or whatever the fuck. But I don't know why, first of all, people aren't more pissed off at him calling anybody retards, because in this day and age, what we have done is modify our language from when we were in third grade and called each other retards. Because that's one thing, that's some language that ought to be banned for the fucking sake of the goddamn, kids and people who have issues and difficulties. That's not a nice word. But as far as him knocking wrestling, if he was saying that after he just watched Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat, or any wrestling pretty much ever that took place through the 80s and early 90s, then I could go in with both feet. But if the only wrestling he's seen is what they had on All Petite Wrestling last week, or that was on this fucking so-called pay-per-view that hopefully nobody paid to view, he's fucking right. There's no pretense of trying to make anybody believe anything. It is stupid, it is silly, and it is fake. But it's also not wrestling. So while I want to defend the wrestling business, I'm more insulted by the guy with his hands in his pockets, the guy with the dick spot, guy with the invisible man, guys who are supposedly professionals in the business doing things that make the business worse than what this guy is saying about wrestling and wrestling fans. He's just some fucking asswipe comedian. It's not even on fucking real television. These are actual supposed professionals, supposedly in the industry. So it depends on what he's knocking. If he's knocking professional wrestling, fuck this guy and feed him fish heads. But if he is commenting on what he has seen presented as professional wrestling that we've seen over the last weeks and months, I don't blame him. If that's the first time he's fucking seen it and he saw that, if the first time I ever saw professional wrestling was either this Money in the Bank fucking bullshit or some of the fucking stupid shit that the fucking outlaw mud show contingent of All Elite Wrestling does, that'd be the last time I ever saw wrestling. We wouldn't be having this conversation because I would have never watched it again because it's stupid.
Well, part of his argument, though, is the idea that there are still people who argue that it's not fake. And that he's, saying, oh, shut up, it's fake, it's awful.
Well, in this day and also with what they have just seen in this day and age, I'm surprised at that also. Now, I know several guys that could show you and prove to you that it ain't fucking fake if they had a hold of you. And yes, you could still, if you did it right, present conflict that certain people, in fact, a decent number of people would believe was legitimate. But nobody's trying, so whatever. I can't. I'm more disgusted with, offended by, repulsed by the people actually in the wrestling business calling themselves wrestlers and having a match with the Invisible Man than I am some fucking idiot comedian mouthing off about shit he doesn't know anything about. And I can't blame him if he saw Matt Hardy climb out of the ice machine in a different set of clothes because he had just come from another dimension. Yeah, anybody that does watch that and thinks it's fucking entertaining in any way or makes any sense is a fucking idiot. But I wouldn't use the word retard because that's insulting to kids and other people who can't fucking defend themselves or deserve it.